Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas and that hamster up your ass.
I feel like that's been done before that, isn't it?
I don't know.
Don't think Donald Duck was the first.
Oh dear. Are you getting record fatigue yet?
Am I doing what?
Are you getting record fatigue?
No, I'm just generally fatigued, I think. It's been a very, very... Oh, I've just dropped my phone. It's been a very, very long couple of weeks, especially the last few days. I just haven't stopped. And I must admit, there's been a couple of episodes where I've just had so much to do, I've just thought I could do without this. But I'm all right tonight.
That's
I'm
good.
all right. Yeah, I feel a bit more refreshed. Now I've got a lot of things done.
Yeah.
Still got a few bits to do, of course. But I don't any longer feel... It's endless. It's not endless anymore.
Yeah, I've done my Christmas shopping for myself.
Oh, excellent.
I bought myself some bits.
Oh, what'd you get?
I have ordered myself... But that'd be telling, wouldn't it? No,
well, yeah, it would. That's why I asked, yeah.
No, I mean,
You
it wouldn't be a surprise to me on Christmas Day then, would it?
Oh, well, I'm sure you'll...
It's not a surprise.
Look, you just carry on knocking back those eggnogs and you won't remember what you said. You'll be all right.
Because obviously I've got an open bottle of eggnog that I'm not going to waste.
Yeah.
I made myself an eggnog and another, with the chocolate vodka.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've popped some eggnog. We're having eggnog ice cream tonight.
Oh,
we haven't
lovely.
had time yet. We haven't had time yet. So yes, hopefully we'll have time to quickly make that and record it after recording tonight. So,
oh, excellent. Okay, well, we'll try not to keep you too long.
So we'll try.
This is podcast. Seriously, it's only the first one I've had.
That's all it takes. It's all it takes.
You know what? I put my out of office on today at 2:00 because I'm off for 5 days, and my head has just checked itself out. As
you should, sir. As you should.
It's gone. It's had enough.
So this is the penultimate episode of Podmas 2023.
Excellent.
This is the 23rd episode of Podmas 2023, all the 23s. And I thought we would talk about... I haven't actually read this.
Okay.
But I found an article.
There's a lot on here. It's going to be a long episode if we read all this.
Well... I'll read fast or something.
Interestingly, the first thing, can I say what it is? The first thing that springs to mind is you've put on there the history of Father Christmas, and I've clicked the link as well.
Yes.
And I thought it was true that he originally had a green jacket and it became red because of Coca-Cola.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, but looking at this from the off, he had a red coat.
Oh, really? Right, well, let's have a look.
Well, just clicking on the article, the first thing comes up is him in a red coat, so...
Oh, that doesn't necessarily... Okay. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the first
Or maybe
depiction.
it's because we're on the English Heritage website. They've decided red matches the theme.
That's true. It certainly does. Certainly does. So it says the jolly old man who sneaks into our houses every 24th of December is beloved across the world and known by many names. But should you call him Father Christmas, St. Nicholas or Santa Claus? What's the difference? Where did he come from? Is he a Christian saint or a corporate stooge? In this article, we'll explore how Father Christmas emerged in England at a time when seasonal celebrations were under attack. We'll also, let's just get into it, shall we? So the English origins of Father Christmas. So from his earliest days until the 19th century, Father Christmas was a strictly I can't say that allegorical.
Don't ask me. I've got no idea what that means. What does it mean?
Well, if something's alleged, it's like, so it's a bit like saying, well, so you say, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Okay.
So it was just like a theoretical,
but we know he exists.
Story figure. Sorry?
But by now we know he exists.
Of course.
Yeah.
Naturally. We know he exists. There are plenty of non-believers out there, and we not going to consort with you folk. So anyway, he was a symbol of the Christmas season rather than a mythical being. He was often depicted as a merry old man who presided over festive parties, not a gentle giver of gifts. I think we touched on this maybe a little bit in the history of Christmas, possibly. And largely because Christmas was celebrated differently with much more emphasis on entertainment for adults, as can be seen in Kenny Meadows' drawing of the Illustrated London News. Okay, cool. The earliest evidence for a personified Christmas can be found in 15th century carol, in which a character called Sir Christmas, I get there in the end, shares the news of Christ's birth. He tells his audience, make good cheer and be right merry. Well, that sounds like something you'd say. Be right merry, me. Be right, I can't. I haven't had any vodka. I wish I had. So another precursor to Father Christmas could be found in York, where a festival called Yule Ridings took place on the 21st of December. A man disguised as Yule carried cakes and meat through the streets and threw nuts into the crowd. In 1572, the procession was banned after complaints of very rude and barbarous behaviour. Oh. Elsewhere in Tudor and Stuart times, especially appointed Lord of Misrule oversaw Christmas celebrations in aristocratic houses and was sometimes given names like Captain Christmas, the Christmas Lord, or Prince Christmas.
Captain Christmas.
Captain Christmas. That's it. That's a new superhero now, is it? Yeah. I mean, yeah, with a red cape with a fur trim. Yeah.
Marvel will be snapping that up.
No, I think we should.
Okay. we know. I think we know who our Captain Christmas is.
I think we do. I reckon that might be Uncle Jerry's alter ego. You know, Captain Christmas. The anti-Christmas anti-hero. But none of these early personifications of Christmas make him out to be a father or an old man for that. The world had to wait for the playwright Ben Jonson. Okay. Jonson's Christmas, his masque, was performed for the royal court in 1616. In the play, the character of Christmas appears in old-fashioned clothes with a long, thin beard, calling himself Old Christmas and Old Gregory Christmas. Gregory. Okay. He chides the guards for refusing to let him into the party and argues that he is as good a Protestant as in any in my parish. A pointed comment at a time when Christmas celebrations were coming under attack from Puritans. Jonson's character of Christmas is definitely old and is definitely a father. He brings with him several of his sons and daughters, each personifying a different tradition of the period, with names like Misrule, Carol, Mince Pie, Mumming, and Wassail. Okay. Wassail. It sounds like a roadman greeting, doesn't it? Like Wassail, man.
Wassail.
Wassail. Jesus. Christmas himself came with no gifts, but one of his sons' New Year's gift brought an orange and a sprig of rosemary with a collar of gingerbread and a bottle of wine on either arm.
Is this where Christingles start coming from? Do you remember them when you were a kid?
No.
You never had a Christingle service? Like you go with school or scouts or whatever?
No, what's that?
Oh. Because you basically dress an orange up.
Really?
Have we not talked about this before? I've got deja vu.
Well, if we have, I've forgotten. So you can tell me again.
Yeah, so you get an orange. Stick a candle in the top. That's Jesus, the light of the world. And then you put a red ribbon round, which is, I don't know, signifies his love for everyone or something. And then you get cocktail sticks and put sweets on them and stick them in it.
It's the most goddamn pagan thing I've ever heard in my life. It really is.
I think you go and have a church service and stand there holding your...
And summon Christ, yeah.
Your lit candle on your orange. I can't believe you've never seen one.
Do you say Jesus Christ in the mirror 3 times and then when your candle goes out he's summoned or something? Like let's add some theatrics. Come on, let's make this more interesting.
Okay, yeah, that's what
genuinely,
you do.
I've never heard of that.
Let me send you an image. I will send you this on Slack.
Okay, right. You send me an image.
There you go. There is what that one's.
Oh, you've done it already?
Yes.
Where have you sent it?
I sent it on Slack. Oh, it's uploading. It's uploading. There we go. Must have been a bigger file than I thought.
Oh, it's very pretty.
It
very
is, isn't
pagan.
it? And especially when you get like a room full of people with them. Like that. How very homely. When you're all stood there in a line, just looking at your sweets, wanting to eat them.
It looks like something you should be doing at Halloween, I'll be honest with you.
Okay, so yeah, the candles represent Jesus. He shows us what God is like. The orange is the world. The red tape is God's love for the world. How do you remember that? 4 cocktail sticks are the 4 corners of the world. And the sweets are the good gifts God gives us.
This is where flat earthers are coming from, isn't it?
God gives us Haribo. Yeah.
God gives us 4 corners of the world, and this flat earthers went, ha!
Yeah.
Ha ha! See? Told you. Okay, I'll carry on. So the Puritan attack on Christmas intensified before, during and after the English Civil War. Royalists flocked to Christmas's defence and once again personified the season to make their case, as in the 1645 pamphlet, The Arrangement, Conviction and Imprisonment of Christmas. In this allegorical story, it's a really hard word to say. A woman asks the Oxford town crier where old Father Christmas has gone. She is told that the poor old man was arraigned, condemned, and after conviction cast into prison amongst the king's soldiers, fearing to be hanged. Sure enough, in 1647, Parliament banned Christmas altogether, along with Easter, Whitsun, and many other traditional holidays. He also featured... Yeah,
the government banning things you like.
Yeah, I fancy that.
Although since then, they've learned that they can make money out of it, so it's not really bad.
They have. That's true. He also featured in a pamphlet of 1652 by the royalist John Taylor called The Vindication of Christmas, and in 1658 a pamphlet entitled The Examination and Tyrol of Old Father Christmas depicted him as a man with a white beard and an old-fashioned fur-trimmed gown. He's put on trial for his life, but thankfully for us, he is acquitted by the jury. So I'm guessing that's him in the garb that we know today.
It sounds like
quite interesting. Yeah. Christmas returned after the restoration of 1660, and Father Christmas went on to appear in stage plays and folk drama over the next 200 years. But as Ronald Hutton says in Stations of the Sun, he remained far removed from our understanding of the man. He was essentially concerned with the adult world, personifying feasting and games. He had no connection with presents, and he was not treated with much respect, being generally a burlesque figure of fun.
No, okay.
So he was just a party guy. I mean,
I think he just mellowed as time's gone on.
Well, he's gone from being, daddy to Father Christmas, isn't he? Yeah. Father Christmas enjoyed a mini renaissance in the first half of the 19th century. In illustrations, he was sometimes shown as a winter sprite with garlands of holly on his head, surrounded by food and drink, and he I nearly said festered. He featured in many folk plays of the era. He also closely resembles the Ghost of Christmas Present from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and he really does, I think, very similar. But Christmas was changing. With the Victoria focused on family life and children, it would no longer be just a time for drinking, feasting and making merry. And this new kind of Christmas needed a new kind of old man to represent it. So we had the Victorians to thank. St. Nicholas and Sinterklaas. Sorry. I've never heard that before. I enjoyed pronouncing that.
Yeah, it sounds like you did.
Sinterklaas. Long before the symbol of Father Christmas emerged in England, the separate legend of Sinterklaas was gaining around Europe. The origins of Sinterklaas can be found in stories of St. Nicholas, of a 4th century Greek bishop from Myra, now in modern-day Turkey. St. Nicholas was credited with a wide variety of miracles. According to one story, he resurrected 3 youths after they'd been murdered and pickled in a barrel by an innkeeper.
Lovely,
yeah, thrilling. In another tale, he met a poor man who was on the brink of selling his own daughters into slavery. Under the cover of darkness, the saint anonymously threw 3 bags of gold down the chimney to provide dowries for the girls. The gold landed in their stockings, which were drying by the fire. For anyone who isn't sure, a dowry is what was paid by the father to whoever would marry their daughter and take them off his hands even.
Okay.
So a dowry was a sum of, he basically paid someone to marry his daughter, essentially. Women were seen as being a bit of a burden, which is a shame. Anyway, St. Nicholas's fame spread throughout medieval Europe after his relics were rescued from Myra and taken to Italy in 1087. Over time, tales of his gold-giving exploits gave rise to a tradition of leaving gifts for children on the night before December 6th, which was St. Nicholas's Day. In the Netherlands, special markets sprang up to sell toys and treats for the occasion, and St. Nicholas or Sinterklaas impersonators dressed in red bishop's costumes to delight the crowds. Tradition had it that in his quest to deliver presents, St. Nicholas would enter houses by passing through locked doors or descending down chimneys to leave gifts in shoes and stockings. Much like the English Father Christmas, Sinterklaas came under attack during and after the Reformation, with Protestants keen to move away from the veneration of the saints. The baby Jesus was promoted as a more appropriate giver of gifts, known in Germany as Das Christkindl. Oh, okay, yeah. Later anglicised to Kris Kringle, and St. Nicholas markets were banned, as were biscuits baked in the shape of a bishop. Oh. But it's clear that popular tradition survived. One famous depiction of Jan Steen's 17th century painting of the Feast of St. Nicholas, which shows a chaotic domestic Dutch scene of gift-giving and feasting. More evidence of their survival comes from the ways that the Sinterklaas universe expanded to include a host of frightening, violent characters who dished out punishment to naughty children, including Krampus. Yes, love a bit of Krampus. So yeah, okay. Here comes Santa Claus. Not entirely clear how Sinterklaas made his way across the Atlantic to North America to become Santa Claus. It's possible that his story made it to the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam, which later became New York. In 1773, the Rivington's Gazetteer in New York reported that the anniversary of St. Nicholas, otherwise called Saint Claus, had been recently marked by a great number of sons of the ancient saint.
That's where Santa Claus come from then, hasn't it?
Yeah. In 1809, Washington Irving's History of New York claimed that the old Dutch families still told fairy tales of Sinterklaas on St. Nicholas's Day. He was said to, it sounds like a few different characters that have over time been merged into one person.
This has been Chinese whispers.
It has, yeah. He was said to fly over the city in a wagon and climb down chimneys to deliver presents. Whether or not Irving was using poetic license is unclear, but the idea, whether or not he was using poetic license, and the legend grew with a poem featuring Sancte Claus, published in the New York Spectator a year later. Some historians think that Irving and other New Yorkers were inventing new traditions to create a gentler, family-orientated kind of Christmas tradition in the city, which had begun to suffer from unpleasant bouts of drunken mob violence in the days around 25th of December. In 1821, an anonymous illustrated poem called Old Man Santa Claus, with much delight, introduced Santa's red coat, reindeer and sleigh, and put his arrival on Christmas Eve rather than St. Nicholas's Day. 2 years later, Clement Clark Moore, a professor of Hebrew in the city, embellished the legend in his poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known to us as The Night Before Christmas. Well, there you go.
Oh, and I think nice story.
I think that's, yeah, wow. So who knew? It does, like you say, it sounds a lot like Chinese whispers, and a lot of similar things were going on in different areas of the world. And and
now we know who he is. And
amalgamated. Yeah. That's really interesting. And of course, tomorrow he'll be visiting us all. Well, only us believers, of course.
Yeah. As long as you've been good. Have you been good?
I'm always good. Have you been good?
Yeah. I'm always good.
You hesitated. You hesitated. I heard you.
Well, in case he's listening, I haven't got any jokes about him.
Oh, okay.
I've just got other jokes instead. Do you want my jokes?
Yes, please.
What's the most disappointing thing for a lover on Christmas morning?
I don't know.
When they get a sweater, but they're hoping for a screamer or a moaner.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
What did Miss Piggy give Kermit for Christmas?
Oh, God, I don't know.
A ham job.
Oh, no. All right, we're done. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of Podmas. That was disgusting. Please do join us tomorrow for our final episode of Podmas on Christmas Eve. We're very excited to be doing it. Head over to topicopedia.online where you can fill out our sexy feedback form and let us know how it's going. And you can also Google us. We're all over the internet. And don't forget, you can also contact us via our social media as well. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.